Area schools get the repairs they need this time of year, and of course, as you know, they certainly can be expensive.
And the taxpayers are the ones who foot the bill. But are Baltimore County taxpayers shelling out millions more than they should be? 11 News I-Team reporter David Collins investigates.
The roof on Pot Springs Elementary School in Timonium cost taxpayers nearly $1.5 million. The roof on Bear Creek Elementary, nearly $1.7 million. And the roof on Old Court Middle School in Pikesville, more than $2 million. Over the last 5 years, taxpayers shelled out tens of millions of dollars to replace aging school roofs in Baltimore County. But some in the roofing industry contend that's far more than necessary.
At issue, the way Baltimore County awards school roofing contracts. State law requires they be put out for public bid. But Baltimore County is using a practice critics say restricts competitive bidding and costs taxpayers millions.
Since 2005, Baltimore County has used a purchasing co-op service called the Pennsylvania Education Joint Purchasing Council, or PAEJPC. For a fee, the Pennsylvania co-op takes the bidding process out of the hands of local school districts. And it claims to save schools money because it buys in volume. And it can get the best value because it has access to contractors in 23 states. Not surprisingly, competitors have strong opinions about the co-op.
It's an egregious waste of taxpayers' dollars.
Elaine Pierce is an engineer with GAF Materials, one of the largest roofing manufacturers in North America. Her company competes with the Pennsylvania co-op. She says co-op prices are high because it provides a one-stop service, and its vendors have to consider the cost of doing business in the 23 states where the co-op does business.
The cost, unit cost, is inherently much higher than when you have a single job with where it's a local roofing contractor bidding the job.
By not bidding out its own roofing contracts, Pierce believes Baltimore County taxpayers spent an estimated $30 million extra between 2005 and 2010. Money that could have been used to expand schools, hire more teachers, or update equipment. So is something that's supposed to be saving taxpayers money costing them more? A 2008 audit conducted by the state of Indiana looked at the process there. Auditors could not find evidence that a co-op used by Indiana schools encouraged competition, or that the bid process used an objectively measurable basis to determine the lowest bidder. And they cite an example of a roofing contract that did not go to the lowest overall bidder. Instead, it went to a subsidiary of a company called TRemco, the same company the Pennsylvania co-op recommended to Baltimore County schools for every roofing job going back to 2005.
Representatives of the Pennsylvania co-op declined our request for an on-camera interview. TRemco also declined our request, but provided a written response to our inquiry about why their company seems to be favored by the Pennsylvania co-op.
They say TRemco is not favored by or a partner of the PAEJPC. TRemco is a vendor that won the bid for the Association of Education Purchasing Agencies, the umbrella agency, in an advertised public bid process.
What we were trying to accomplish with the study.
Last year, one of TRemco's competitors, Carlisle Construction Materials, did an analysis of 73 TRemco contracts with the Pennsylvania school districts. It determined TRemco charged double the cost per square foot compared to what Carlisle says is an open market rate. Michael Ducharme is the director of product marketing for Carlisle Construction.
It's just mind-boggling to me, that you have individual school districts that would be willing to pay that degree of a premium.
Why is the study relevant to Maryland?
The costs for Pennsylvania are the costs for the state of Maryland.
TRemco responds, "We cannot verify that comparable products or scopes of work were involved in the Carlisle report. In this case, a direct TRemco competitor, Carlisle, commissioned the study, building in an automatic bias. Therefore, any negative conclusions are not surprising." TRemco also says public entities are not required to accept inferior quality by considering only the lowest cost options, and that it provides long-term value. Baltimore County school officials declined to comment on the story, citing a civil lawsuit filed by GAF Materials. But in the lawsuit, they say the co-op saves the county hundreds of thousands of dollars. According to Maryland law, schools must competitively bid any contracts valued at over $25,000. But the same law also allows the use of co-ops to purchase goods and commodities, as Baltimore County is doing. GAF claims school construction projects don't fit that definition.
A good and commodity is, if you will, this pen that I'm holding. A good and commodity is not by any definition of those terms a multi-million-dollar, multi-trade roofing construction project.
The debate about using purchasing co-ops isn't just playing out here in Maryland. It's come up in Indiana, Virginia, Texas, California, and Pennsylvania. And some states have adopted legislation. Mike Ducharme believes school districts aren't going to do anything differently unless they have to.
They like the fact that they're able to pick up the phone, call TRemco, and from that point they can just prop up their feet and they're done. TRemco will come in, they'll do the budgets, they'll write up the specs, they'll coordinate the construction, and then they'll issue a bill to the owner. That's easy. The only pain that comes into the whole scenario is when you see what it did to your bank account.
We could not find any studies, audits, or analysis that indicate whether Baltimore County is saving taxpayers money by soliciting school replacement contracts through the Pennsylvania Education Joint Purchasing Council. For the 11 News I-Team, I'm David Collins.